going to recruit. Some of us are going to sell. Some of us are going to do both. We're all going to use. So in order to build a truly prosperous business, it is my belief that some people among all those who come into this business need to be spreading the word about this wonderful product that we have. And I'm a total nerd about it. I love it so much. And if I had the time, I would tell you my grand vision for what we can do in the world with XFT, helping people in ways that haven't even begun to be thought of by most people, including lighting up whole cities that run off of fuel in other parts of the world. I can't even tell you, Dale and I traveled to Uganda. We went to the source of the River Nile, where hydroelectric and generators run on fuel are the only source of income. South Africa is about to load shed 40% of their electricity to the entire city of Durban because they don't have enough fuel, access to good fuel to run their generators and their power plants to supply the growing populations. They do it during parts of the year. So I'm going to share with you about extreme fuel treatment, which is truly a one-of-a-kind product, and I'll tell you why that is. It's amazing, you know, as our group grows, a lot of people ask me, they say, is there enough space for me? You know, if I go out and make these sales and stuff, you know, am I going to run into problems with other people? Are there territories? Am I going to butt heads against anybody? I can tell you that there is such a crazy demand for extreme fuel treatment and for things to help people save money that we are unforeseeably far away from ever having enough distributors, even in a single town in Vermont, that there's infinite possibilities as far as companies, as far as people and so forth to sell, and we need more distributors. Let me just give you an example, and I'm going to totally butcher this because this is Aaron Stokes' masterpiece here, but Google. Everybody knows Google, even if you don't really use the internet. Google, you can find just about every product there is known to man in the history of the world on Google. You go on and you search for it, and it brings you to things like Amazon or any other service that makes a product available. Well, in all of this massive data, they keep records of the popularity of a product through searches, through sales, and through all these other means. Well, they have this index from 0 to 100, and 0 is like the not very popular or, you know, products that have very little interest. 100 is the most searched for, most bought, most coveted products that are available anywhere in the world via the internet. The whole category of fuel additives, every fuel additive that exists of any kind, is rated on that 0 to 100 scale as a 47, which means that as far as popularity, it's below middle of the pack fuel additives. People looking for it, people wanting to buy it. XFT isn't just included in that fuel treatment category. XFT, extreme fuel treatment, searches for it, people trying to buy it, and can't find enough distributors, is rated as a 53 on that scale, which means that extreme fuel treatment is more in demand than all other fuel additives and anything having to do with fuel additives combined. It is well above average. This means that we simply don't have enough distributors to reach all of the people that want or will want extreme fuel treatment. So with that, we hope that you'll join us. Extreme fuel treatment, save green, earn green, be green. We're a Smart Way partner. We have our EPA registrations, ASTM, the major standards organization. As you know, it increases fuel economy, improves fuel economy, prolongs engine life, improves engine performance, and reduces harmful emissions. We all know that. Within XFT is a unique combination of a bunch of different ingredients that do different things all resulting in those four improvements. It has a fuel catalyst that I'm going to talk about pretty extensively, fuel stabilizer, demulsifier, polymerization retardants, lubricants, detergents, and corrosion inhibitors. And the beauty of it is it all comes at a net gain. You will spend money on this product ranging for most doses between $2.50 and $4, but you will get several times that amount back by using extreme fuel treatment. What makes it different? John talked about earlier, if you were to go out to a hardware store such as Napa or any of those, and you were to buy certain ingredients such as a lubricant or such as a stabilizer, you would have to get a bunch of products, and if you added them all up, it would come out to somewhere around $60. These are just a few examples, I hope you can see them, of the cost per bottle. And often those bottles, they are big bottles because Americans love more bang for your buck. You want a big bottle, you want a lot of additive, a lot of liquid volume for your money, right? A lot of those have a lot of additives, which makes it seem like it's pretty, that you need a lot of it in order to do the job. The thing that makes XFT the most unique thing on the planet is the fuel catalyst. The catalyst is something that changes the burn rate of the rate of a reaction between any two things. Ours has an organometallic compound, also known as a sandwich compound, or a burn rate modifier. They're the same thing, and they are used to make a fuel molecule have more burnable surface area and make those molecules smaller so that you are realizing the greatest potential of that fuel possible. This hydrocarbon chain, it shows usually an atom or a molecule is in a big ball, and the flame can only reach a certain amount of that, and if it doesn't have enough time, it'll never reach the center. I want to give you an example of this, and this is the best way I have to explain what this does. How many of you have ever made a s'more and roasted a marshmallow over a fire? Most of you, right? Usually they're like that big, right? And you also know that there are those little marshmallows that you would find in Lucky Charms or in some other, you can buy them and use them for Rice Krispie treats or whatever, okay? When you take that big marshmallow and you put it in the fire, or even right above the fire, if you put it in there, it'll catch on fire, it'll burn the sugars, and it will burn the outside, and you could actually strip off the outside right off your stick, and what's left inside, that white gooey stuff, and some of it's still cold, right? Ever happened to you? Okay. If you were to leave that in the fire, it would eventually burn all of it, okay? Now, similarly, the organometallic compound is like the sugar in a marshmallow. It is one of the things that allows the combustion process to occur within the fuel. But it also atomizes it, so you are burning lots of little things like those little marshmallows instead of one big glob. And it is causing the fuel to combust not only at a lower temperature, but at a slower rate to allow the most possible combustion process to completely burn that fuel within the chamber. You can see an example here. On the left is before. It's a big bunch of globs. In the right, in the fuel cylinder, it has the kind of a big spray, and the combustion process is hitting all of the molecules of it pretty much simultaneously versus hitting the outside of the fuel and then moving on. When you have that inefficient burn, some of the fuel goes right out in your tank. The most efficient fuels are are in the 90s in terms of how much of the fuel you're actually using. The rest of it is ending up as basically carbon residue, burnt carbon residue, like the outside of that marshmallow, or it's going right out the tailpipe. Where did it come from? The process started a long time ago, and I'll show you in a minute, but the biggest challenges came with the space age. rockets were exploding because of extremely high temperature, high volatility explosions of fuel within it. In 1986, the Challenger exploded and caused some serious publicity and deaths, and they were trying to find ways to make the fuel more stable and change the burn rate in order to allow those rockets to go off as they were supposed to. So NASA pioneered essentially the creation of organometallic compounds. They started in 1951, even before JFK's launched the space age and Sputnik and all of that. But in 1973, the biggest breakthroughs came about. XFT did not win a Nobel Prize. What won the Nobel Prize was the chemistry involved with organometallic compounds, and here's the tricky part of this. Organometallic compounds, sandwich compounds, like ferrocene, won the Nobel Prize because they don't just act upon fuel, they act upon it with the most polarity and therefore the most effectively with the hydrocarbon chains of fuel as you possibly can. So these two guys won the Nobel Prize for organometallic chemistry, which is now incorporated into XFT to atomize the fuel to give you the better fuel economy. Discovered in 1951, the organometallic compounds won the Nobel Prize in 1973. The original patent came out in 1986. Kurt and Snu, the family of the people who originally had the patent. There have been multiple patent updates, name changes from Engine Boost 2.0 to XFT and so forth. And as Kirk told you, it became available in 2009. This is the patent. And why is it important? Patents are not just given out, okay? There has to be a reason that they think your product is worthy of holding one of the most highly esteemed honors that you can have. And this is why. In the US government issued patent, it states that the following reason for issuing the patent for this product, what became extreme fuel treatment. Since none of the prior compositions effectively catalytically improved combustion efficiency or significantly reduced the formation or retention of agglomerated polymerizates in the form of gels and sludge, this composition, XFT, and method has hitherto not been achieved, which is to say that the United States government, through testing and through their patent process, certified XFT as being superior to all other fuel additives, especially fuel additives of this comprehensiveness, and therefore gave it the patent and our ability to sell it widely. Now, the beauty is the organometallic compound contributes to better fuel economy, but there are other things in XFT that enhance that effect and add on to that effect. One of them is detergents. Right here you can see with the fuel that is coming out of the injectors, if it's gummed up or has blockage, it comes out in sporadic manners, and that can actually knock pistons off of their rhythm or any other and other problems. It can actually ruin the injectors. With XFT, it cleans out the injectors and allows a better distribution of the fuel and therefore a better combustion process to happen within the chamber. And I want one comment about the detergents. When you buy fuel, you are buying detergents, okay? I want to be clear about this. When people ask, when you see Shell with V-Power or Chevron with Techron or other things like that, the main thing that you are buying is detergents to deal with inefficiencies and particulate matter within that fuel. The detergents, you're paying extra for those. Lubricants. This is especially a problem in ultra-low sulfur diesel, which has become worse and worse since 2007 and 2010, when they introduced ultra-low sulfur diesel laws into effect. This is mainly for companies. Lubricants also deal with another issue that is of major importance to us, and that's ethanol. Ethanol is an additive, and it is alcohol-based, and it strips away the lubricants that are that would be in your fuel and in your system, and it